Hey, 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 my lovelies. How are you? All right. Are we restreaming on all channels? Apologize for the lateness. Uh, Apparently, I'm having connectivity issues, and you can come in as early as you want, but sometimes it just doesn't work. It's not going to work, right? So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to be here. Love to be with you. This is awesome. And yes, is it working? Let's check it out. Are we working? Yep. Here we are. We are here. Today I'm going to do a little bit of bibliomancy and just want to say hello, right? I need to find in my new studio a place where I can put some really, really good lighting in here. I have added lights and cameras and all kinds of good stuff to get it a little bit brighter. Let's see, how's that? All right. And then I'm going to set up my office. But hey, oh, right? How's that? Okay. A little bit better, a little bit brighter. So there we go. We do the best that we can with what we've got, and we'll go on from here. Hey, hey, just checking. All right, beautiful. And I did mirror my camera because, ladies, I don't know about you, but when you don't, when you get on camera, it's just such an automatic to mess with your hair. And if you don't mirror your video, you're trying to fix your bangs and there's one hair and you're like, whoo, right? The fun, the fun, the fun. Isn't it great to have this good stuff here and fun of what's going on in the world? Let's see, does this have anything? There's a background here. Is it going to show up? Not showing? Show up? No? Okay. So, hey, and the chat is here. Hello, Spirit Me. Love to see you today. So good to have you here. And if you want to hang around, folks, just in case you don't know, Nicole Borgi, obviously that I'm the host here today, at least the hostess with the mostest, and I'm channeling spirit. And man, is there so much going on? This week I had the blessing of sharing a healing session with a group, and how amazing, how amazing, how amazing. I love my the group of ladies that I go to see and I haven't seen in years, and I gotta see. And shout out to Jackie McPherson. She is so amazing. What a great healer. And Jerry Lynn, and these beautiful Monina, and I'll have to think of the other ladies' names, but these ladies that I haven't seen in about a year and a half, so grateful to be there and see you. It is so wonderful. To be in a place where I can see my friends. Isn't it great? Friends you haven't seen for a while. It is so awesome to see people and see people that you love and that you heal. It's good to do this online. And I love to be online because you just pop on and you're on the camera. Boom, we're here. But to see your friends and hug them and hold them and to be with them, right? It's just light and love, and it's so good and it's so rich enriching. I work on a virtual platform a lot, and not only video, but audio and virtual reality and in graphics. And it's so great to be with friends and to hug and feel. So good, good, good. Good to fellowship. Yes, Holy Spirit and me. It is great to fellowship. And the good thing about today is, hey guys, there is no construction going on, so I'm not going to get shut down and have to leave in the middle of the show because they're jackhammering or something crazy's going on. I'm going to put my information in the chat. Let's connect. Let's reach out. So my connection here on Instagram and LinkedIn. And if you're watching me on Facebook, you're already there. Hey, hey, hey. I go live, but you know what? On Facebook, and I do love the oneness community. Always a shout out for them. Here we go. So reach out to me. My You can find me at Illuminate Vegas on YouTube. Do I have that in here? Oh, here's a great, there's a mystical reading here, and there is also my gift to you. Why is this not copying? My gift to you folks here. I just get all this great stuff in the chat, so you have it. Blessings. So Franny von, uh, is it Schlepp? Schlepp? Oh, blessings from Hamburg, Germany. Blessings to you. Great to be here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some live readings. So we'll get into the good stuff here, and we'll get into it. So while we're waiting for a few more, see if I have a few friends that said they were popping on today. So I am going to see if we can get them to come in, at least come in on the chat. But let's check the news today. What is going on at the debrief? What do we have for aerospace? New stuff here. A YouTube spy plane selfie. Someone took a selfie in a spy plane. Bad idea, right? But there's Chinese engineers develop a drone that can fly uh, in the air and swim underwater. And why is this technology amazing? Because we talk about space travel. Those of us who are kind of geeks and love the Star Trekky kind of thing. Um, when you get into that science geek and sci-fi, the stuff's alive. It's here now. There's an AI controlled fighter jet that takes flight, marking an unprecedented breakthrough in autonomous aviation. So that's doing it itself, right? Just like the autonomous cars. Uh, let's see. Transonic experimental aircraft. Hey, this is some amazing stuff, folks. And we let's take the good here out of what is going on in life and the developments that we're making. I tell clients of mine on a virtual platform, when we're talking about getting into a virtual platform, it is something that you have the ability to create yourself. This is a world that you're creating for you and your loved ones, or you are creating um, for your clients, right? So this, let's create for the good and not let the other take over, right? And so let's see. Creepy cool monster walking on the street. So hey, some creepy cool mysterious information. Mysterious metal sphere washes ashore in Japan. Just some silly news from Coast to Coast AM. And NASA's radar captures asteroid as big as Empire State Building, right? So it's this huge asteroid, and scientists recently tracked an asteroid with dimensions comparable to the Empire State Building. Hey, that's awesome. It's huge. They see it. They're searching it. We can go out there. We can capture these things. We have the ability is there for us to see beyond our earthly realm, and that's here as a psychic, as an intuitive. Don't you go beyond your spiritual realm? Don't you travel? We talk about it all the time, and now you can see it, you can feel it, you can almost taste it, right? um, what is it that's out there? What is it that you're seeing? What is it that you're feeling? What is it that you're doing? I know I saw rings. I just had to put them on. It's a girl thing, and it's so fun. But let's clear the air a little bit, and I'm going to do a little bit of what the card of the day is. And Franny and Holy Spirit, me, come on in here. And if you have a question about anything, life, um, love, moving, career, just get that out of the way. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Clear the air. Clear the air, clear the body. Love, love, love. Awesome. So, yes, so put your questions in the chat. I'll answer them today live. And we're going to go. Where did I just do with my card? I moved stuff. Why did I do that for? I moved it to a special spot so I didn't lose it. The card of the day is the Ace of Swords. When we talk about the Ace of Swords, it is irrevocable change. And how does that work? So for the Ace of Swords here, this is the Crowley deck. has such beautiful animation on this deck, and it comes out so clear on camera. It's piercing the illusion with the sword, right? You're piercing the difference between fantasy and reality, right? And on here you see like this gold, the golden crown. It's a single sword here, upraised through the clouds and up above, right? And it's changing the fortunes of the single mindedness. It's a sword sometimes, and I'm looking at my notes here. In progress, sense of hope and victory, right? And the reason, hey, folks, I know people tell you don't take notes, don't look at stuff. You're a psychic, you can't. But this is for the psychic lesson of the card today, and I want to be clear, and teach you this. And you should. Your teacher, you have notes. It's okay. Oh, yes, Franny. See, I knew something was coming in the right workplace. So when we're talking about this, Franny, and some of this may come up for you, and if you have any further questions on it, let me know. What does the sword mean? The sword is strength. The sword is power. When you swing your sword, we say slay all day, right? You're out there slaying, you're hustling, you're slaying in your workplace, right? You're slaying the evil boss, or maybe you're just slaying that work in your way. You're getting it done. You're driving, you're driven, and you're here to get s- get shit done, right? GSD, you're GSD, and that's me, right? You want to stay hard, and you're slaying the obstacles in front of you, and you're doing a darn good job of it. You want to do it with the sword, but you want your sword to be sharp, and the reason is when your sword is sharp, if you don't have, let's say, an axe, if you're chopping wood, right? Let's make it for today. If you're out there chopping wood, right? And your axe is not sharpened, are you going to get enough wood for the fireplace that night? Are you going to be chopping? You're going to be there chopping a long time because it's not sharp. It's not cutting. Your knife in the kitchen is when you're cutting your onions. Do you sharpen your sword so you can get that fine little cut of onions? Because if you don't, you might as well chew through the onion yourself to get it cut. You get my drift. You get what I'm saying. It's a dull knives. Don't do anything. If you get hurt, people, if you get hurt, and those of you who have been here a while know my experience in law enforcement, if you get hurt from someone, if you're in a knife fight, um, that dull knife is more painful. Backstabbing is more painful when it's dull. When it's sharp for me, it's like, hey, touche, you got a good one in, right? So when we're talking about our sword is our power, our sword is our mindset. So we want to keep our mindset sharpened. We want to keep our tools sharpened, right? It can mean that there's sacrifices and challenges in front of you. If you have those sacrifices and challenges, if you're at home in your home space, self-leadership environment, we're talking your personal home space. If you're tired, if you're weak, people are going to walk over you. You're going to be the doormat. You're going to allow people to do things because you feel overpowered in a relationship, right? In a loving relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. Uh, we get in relationships, we get comfortable. My friend says, we're in the pickle jar. We can't see out. When you're stuck in that pickle jar, all you can see is the pickles around you. So you think it's comfortable, you think it's okay. And your sword is not sharpened enough to identify the difference between the good and the bad. Maybe you're getting gaslit by a boyfriend or whatever, and they're telling you, hey, that was you. It had nothing to do with me. That's on you. You're hearing crazy noise. I can't remember. God, I gotta remember that movie. They're gaslighting this lady, and she lives in this old house, and they're playing scary noises, and they're changing stuff. So she trips and falls. She gets hurt. She sees ghosts in her house, which are pretend. They're fake ghosts, and they're really messing with her psyche. And they're telling her they have doctors coming in telling her she's seeing crazy stuff, right? and they're gaslighting her and saying, "Oh man, that wasn't real. That's not going on. Nobody else saw it but you, and it's not happening." But it was happening. So what she was seeing was real to her because it was happening to her. Uh, but she didn't know that it was a setup, right? And so if you're weak in your knowledge, your sword is not sharpened. You cannot fight the good fight. And I know when listening to Shri and Kira and Jerry and everything on Oneness Talk Radio, the always sharpening their soul, right? Their soul is always inspired. Their soul is always being cleansed and cleared. Their soul is sharp. Their soul, they are so connected. And when we're connected here, woo, get a little bit of a chill when we're connected to spirit, as the warrior and the raven. So I talk about those sharpening your warrior skills. Because why? Because when you're sharpening your skills, your strength, maybe you're exercising, maybe you're doing some judo, maybe you're doing some martial arts, right? You're doing the Bruce Lee thing. Um, when you're doing that every day, when you're getting out and running and you're getting some sunshine, you're healthy. Why is this not coming up for me? When you're healthy, uh, um, I was looking for something. I was trying to bring up some news I wanted to share. One woman show. Hey, got to laugh about it, right? Um, when you're healthy, your mind's right, you're healthy, you're taking the right supplements. Um, if if you're if if you're vegan or vegetarian, you're getting more supplements because those, not all of, whether it's organically grown or not, the food, nobody's really checking the mineral content all the time in the dirt that they've planted the food in, right? If you have a vegetable garden outside, are you making sure that that mineral content, Martha Stewart, are you making sure that that mineral content is high and rich in the nutrients and the nitrogen that is needed, right? So you need to take care of that, take care of yourself. And so if you're vegetarian, you're supplementing. Are you not supplementing? Are you getting sun? Are you eating French fries and saying, I'm vegetarian? That's not the same. There's no good stuff in there. There's no good stuff in that fried food. And that's okay if you want to eat that fried food, right? Um, but the point is that the point is that you want to take care of yourself. Are you being healthy? So just being a vegetarian and thinking that you're going to eat French fries and sit on the couch and binge watch some Netflix and chilling with your friend, that's not healthy. Not healthy at all, right? So you want to supplement. I'm a meat eater, right? So I do free range. I do as much as I can, or I pray over my food, scrub up my food. Maybe use a little H2O2, a little hydrogen peroxide there. But it's how are you taking care of you? Okay. And so I'm going to go through the runestone, and Franny, I'm going to answer your question. So just stick tight because I think I put my runestone back in here. How unlike me. I wanted to get the runestone Fehu here. Um, so, no matter how much I set up, there's always something going on. And spirit loves to play with me. I don't know about you guys, but when the fairies are around, they love to take your items and hide them. And so just thank you. And I bless them and I thank them and I offer them gifts. They want to be noticed. They're very playful. I have the Joker in here. And I put my items out and then I can't find them and they're mysteriously gone. And it's just me. So unless um, I am doing it to myself, and hey, I take responsibility, full responsibility for that. So let's start with, and then I'm going to pull another stone. So Fehu is the F faced up. Right here. Okay, Fehu is the F faced up. And how does this belong with that sword? Because once you find it, it is not necessarily the correlated rune stone that I usually pull out the correlated stones. But today I want to share with you that when you pierce that veil, when you move up and you pierce the veil and you're going up from the myth and the fantasy to the truth, from the reality to the truth, and you're mixing those two together as above, so below, you hit your wealth. It's that abundance. We meditate, we om all the time, we ask for guidance and clarity. And it seems sometimes that we're not getting what we want. And why is that? It's because we haven't pierced through that. We don't want to live in fantasy. We want our vision to come true. And sometimes we have to be careful. There can be a fine line between fantasy and the vision that we are looking to achieve. And what is that? How much of that can be reality? And are we accepting the little bits of that in this reality, in on this planet, that work and correlate with our lives? When we do that, when we start accepting the difference of what we have to do, you have to do a little homework. Spirit asks that you do a little homework. And that sucks, right? We're not kids. We don't want to work. I don't want to work. I don't want to have to do homework. I'm always learning. I'm always researching. You have to work at it. In order to make that flab that's right there pop up and be the bicep, what happens? What do you have to do? You have to do a little work for it, right? You have to do a little bit of work for it, for your arms to be stronger, for your arms to be toned. And it's been a few years of grief and pain for me. So even when I went to the gym, I wasn't working out right because I was so stressed and I was so drained that I wasn't working out properly. My body wasn't catching up for me. So I wasn't seeing a good definition. So what did I have to do? I had to work a little bit harder, work a little bit smarter, and pivot and change. And that's really it. And so in order to get that, you want to pierce through that veil. You had to pierce through that hatred. And sometimes it can be painful. And I'm not saying go out there and hurt somebody. Don't take it that way. Nicole did not give you any direction because I can feel it. Somebody is watching this right now and they're like, hey, I'm going to go slay. No, don't get activated in that sense, right? Do not get activated in that sense. The other thing is, you know, when you pierce through that, it's like biting a jelly donut, right? You just take this, you just imagine a jelly donut. It could be not sugar. It could be actual raspberry preserves that you created that are organic, whatever you want to pretend. So just take this juicy donut, just pretend for a moment. You'll get the vision. You get this juicy glazed donut. You go into the store. Remember when you're like a kid and it's huge? It's like this big and it's like huge to your face. And you're looking at and your mouth and the saliva in your mouth is just coming up towards your tongue and your mouth and you're kind of drooling and you could just taste it and smell the sweetness and the stickiness. And ooh, it smells like flowers because it's so sweet and the color is so rich and you're just imagining it. And you take this donut and you just, like a kid, you're just taking this big bite. You pierce that donut with your teeth. And it tastes better than you ever thought. And as you're biting it, the first thought is just chew it all up. But if you take little bites, you're savoring it and you're enjoying it. Maybe you take one or two just big juicy bites of it and you're like, yes, this is great. And then you just take little bites and you're like, you're just savoring it, right? Because you want that to be there. And there's, as a kid, you got jelly just falling down your face. It's falling on your shirt. It's tasting so good, right? We're kids, right? You got a little here. You're eating it up. You know what kids do. It's sticky. It's juicy. It's fun. They experience it. They get enriched in it. And it's gone. What do you do now? Did your mom give you money for another donut? Do you have to work for it? Or are you going to cry that it's gone? And for a second, you're like, There's no more. There's no sticky sweetness. And then you're like, hey, I can earn some money, or I can do something for my mom besides beg and scream and kick things in the store. And you can say, hey, I'm going to work a little bit for a couple of donuts. Hey, mom, what if I take out the trash? Hey, dad, what if I mow the lawn? Those donuts are so good, they're going to drive you to do more, and you want to do more. So now you're happy. Now you're excited. Now you're in there. And now your parents are like, whatever, I'm going to reward. It's a reward. It shouldn't be an everyday. It needs to be a reward in your life, needs to be a reward. And Franny, this is where it gets in with you is the reward. Are you being rewarded, Franny? And I'm going to get my cards right here. I'm just checking online. So, Franny, I'm going to get into this. Yes, please. Oh, good. You're in the right work. Are you in the right workplace? Is that what you're asking? Okay, good. So let's get a card out here. And I really, really, really. Okay. So let's get the card out, and I'm gonna do a real big check before I move on, because I want to make sure that I am paying attention to everything that is going on here. Um, uh, okay, so as we come here, you're going to see this card. Okay, it's the Three of Swords. Get it where that's not so much. Okay, so there's one. Maybe I could put it over here. These are kind of shiny. 1, 2, 3, 4 swords, right? Okay, so I'm going to look at this when I talk, and there's one of the swords on the side. And it's a knight laying down in prayer. And it's the effigy of the vigilance of his life. And it's 4 swords and one laying with him, right? When you're looking at this, um, it's a time to rest and a time to retreat. And why do I say rest? You see, the knight is laying down. It's not in a time of death, it's a time for convalescence after tension. And so there was tension, and there is here. And the blessing is that in the back, and it's hard to see, but in the back of this card, there is the angel praying over the night while he's laying down. Okay, so rest at this time. It's time for convalescence. It's time to go within, and it's really time. It's not time to outshine everybody. What does this have to do with you? First of all, your angels are there. Secondly, you need to want you to go ahead and take some time to rest. And third, take some time at work to observe the environment and get to know. And you may have been there for a bit already, Franny, okay? And you're like, well, I know everything. I want you to stop. I want you to detach after meditation. Just let yourself go. Not necessarily a play time, but take time to just, where can you rest? Maybe laying on the beach in some sun, sitting on a rock on the mountain under the sun. Even if you went camping in the woods and you kind of got a little bit away from town, go ahead and do that. Find a place where you can relax, no phone service for at least 20, 30 minutes, okay, at the least. Go somewhere, or turn your phone on airplane mode. If you're going to do this at home, go into meditation. Just relax and just breathe. And it's a time to just reflect. It's not a time of desperation. It's not a time, because I don't feel that energy in you. I feel that you need to sit back and just relax into it and understand your space. And why are you doing that? So when you're at work and you're doing a that moment, sometimes you're sitting at the desk and you're just looking, and you got your little pen out, or you're typing on your machine, um, and you just kind of take that moment and you're just sitting there reflecting. Something caught your eye. Maybe you're just kind of in that zone, right? I see a lot of zoning out. That's time for you, that spirit saying, go ahead and just relax into it. Just feel into it and just take that back. You don't have to journal right now. It's just the observance of what's going on. And the reason you're doing that is because you need to have the full experience. You have an experience at work right here, maybe in that desk area, right? And you have that experience right here in front of you. Are you experiencing um, the other people? Just be an outsider, be a visionary. Maybe you're listening to a conversation at the water cooler and it's gossip. That it's just being an observance to what's going on at you. Maybe it's a funny story. Maybe they're telling jokes and you're just going to walk by and go, hee hee hee. It's funny. Be in it. Be of it. Almost like an astral travel. You ever separate, Franny, and you're astral traveling and you're looking at something? Maybe you're looking at the city. Um, you're in the cubicle, sometimes you astral travel into the city and you're going over the buildings and you're looking at that. It's really in that detachment that you're observing what's going on with other people, because some of those people around you are doing their thing. And it's not doing their thing where they're negating you. It's not doing their thing where they something that they could include you in, but they're doing their own thing, and it has nothing to do with you, and it's not in a negative context. If you get up and you excuse yourself from a meeting and you go to get a glass of water, it's not because you're offended um, uh, by somebody that they said something next to you. It's just because it's about you going to get a glass of water. Really start separating from that and start seeing where you're at, because you're in the right place for now. And within that next year, there's going to be some change. But you need to start having that full experience of the job, of people. Get to know people. Be the watcher, be the witness of what's going on. Because it seems that the energy I get is that you're so focused on your job and your task that if there's an interruption of your work, if there's an interruption from outside people, they're not interrupting you because they want to mess you up or they want to screw up your concentration. The interruption is because you're so focused on what you're doing that you didn't see that person, coming to the door, or with your door open, right? Or you didn't pay attention that it's 5 minutes to 12 and you're waiting for a phone call at 12 o'clock and the phone rings and you're like, whoa, because you're so focused, you're so here, you're in that pickle jar, you're focused at what's right here. You're focused on the task with you. You need to be focused because you need to get the job done, but start a little bit here and there to see a few feet outside of where you're at. And it's not to be a busybody or in people's business or to save the world. It's just to understand. Pretend that that work is a Netflix movie. Are you seeing the actors? Are you seeing outside where they're driving the car in down the road to the scene and you can see the car out a couple miles? Start to get ahead. And here's another thing that's coming through is get 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Okay. This is the time to develop you in the workplace and the environment and the culture. Um, you're expanding outside of the sheeple. So you're no longer in this group here, but you're not quite in this path yet, right? Of the top. executive status, right? And so if that's even the CEO of you, there's always someone that's higher. There's always someone in business and coaching business or in anything that does, maybe you do a $3,000 coaching package. They do a $10,000 coaching package. There's always somebody at a little bit higher level that you need to get to. But you are at the point where you're not starting, you're not here, but you're more from the middle to the top and you're getting ready to go there. And there's so many things at the top that that top tier, the wealthy, the executives have and seen, and they take notice. Even that quiet executive that walks around the office and people think, oh, you know, uh, you know, John Smith is in the office today and he's the executive BP of cogs and widgets. And people know this, and he's just kind of quiet and taken back, and he'll say hi to you, but he's not like overly, hi guys, I'm here. He doesn't have to be Tony Robbins, be noticed, be part of the crowd. He just comes in quietly, and most of the time people don't notice that he's there. But I guarantee that John's watching. John's not watching. He doesn't want to destroy you. He doesn't want to fire people, but he's just watching what goes on. He's watching the environment. He's watching the changes. He's watching the reaction of people, just like you're watching a Netflix movie. Start to watch and observe because it's really going to change your perspective of the job that you're doing because you're so focused here. You need to be focused out. Don't be a busybody. That's not for you to get involved in that. It's just to notice. Maybe it's funny what people are saying. Maybe it's not. Maybe you'll hear something and say, hey, these people here, Nancy and Suzanne that are over here talking back and forth, they don't really work. They're not really passionate. They're always complaining. And so you're like, I like them. I'm going to say hi, but I'm going to come over here where Samantha and Tiffany are because they're workers. They talk about fitness, they talk about their health, they talk about um, you know going to another course and another class and getting another promotion, but they're full scale 360 really involved in their entire life. So get away from this and go over here because that's part of you. And maybe there's a few things that you do that you don't notice that you do at work that are good, not bad, that are good, but you don't give yourself enough credit for that. And you need to start moving the involvement. I'm caught on my wire, too many wires. You need to start getting involved um, with a little bit of a different and start doing that. What habits can you let go of? What things that you do just don't need to be done, right? You're there, you're on time, you're early, you stay a little late, you do a little extra, you do a little extra phone calls, um, but don't take it home with you. Don't worry. What you're doing is fine, Franny. What you're doing is good. What you're doing is right for right now. And then once you take that time to relax and get out, once you take this time to just be Franny for a second, just even if your mind's not totally quieting, just let it come up. Just let those thoughts come up, tell them to go away, and just relax in that moment. If you're taking a hike and you see a bird and you're like, just watching the bird for a couple minutes fly around, the eagle soaring, just be in that moment. Be in the moment. Be in the moment. Um, don't bring personal issues to work. And I think that there's been a struggle um, with that. Some things that may have gone on in the past that don't go on anymore, let it be. Be more present at work. Really be more present at work. And this is where, when we go back to um, the sword, when I'm talking about being more present and being in those moments, whether it's work or home, and you go into the Ace of Swords, that's the difference between fantasy fiction and reality. the fantasy of where we want to be and achieve and the reality of what's going on at home. You cannot control the home space when you're at work as well as you can't control the workspace while you're at home. You're going to do good here and you're going to do good here, and you're going to, as much as you can, let go of that when you're in the other space. How are you going to do good for work when you're at home and separating them? It seems like, maybe there's something there that's coming home, some work at home too. Um, but really, you need to separate that. There needs to be a definite separation between work and home. When you're working, be at work. When you're calling clients, uh, or you're talking to your boss, be at work. And think about, what is going on right here, because you're leaving a space, you're leaving a home environment, and there has to be a cutoff to when you're going to work to be involved in work. you know and yeah, we're human, we're going to have moments where we're in that space, right? When we're in that space, and we feel we can't let go of it. If you're at home, why does this not show in the background? I don't know. Silly. Okay. um when you're at home, when you have something that happened maybe in that day in your personal life and you're going to work, let those thoughts come up. Know what you can do, know what you can control. And then when you're at work or in that moment of work, find a space and time. Like if you're traveling to work, and let's say your job is 5 miles. In that 5 miles that you're driving, you pass a school, and it's 2 miles in, right? It's 2 miles in, and you see a school. Every day, know that when you go to that drive by that school, you're going to be in presence, and you're going to say, I'm going to let go of my home life and I'm coming to work, right? Just like if you're going into your home office, shut the door, be at work. Know that when you're coming down the hallway, you're leaving everything out 3 feet out the door. And this is a different moment. It's healthier for your mind to let it go. It's really healthier to your mind. We're going to do a little bit of um, bibliomancy, because what is good, asking what is good of the book here. And so here's something. It's golden seal. And golden seal is good for allergies. It's good for health. It's good for skin. It's good for sore throat. Um, it is used, and now bibliomancy is when you're just asking a question or you're in a reading, and what can help you on the healthy side for herbs, right? What essential oils or herbs, and you just ask spirit, and spirit comes up with the answer. And golden seal, I have like, my lotion is like going into my eye here. It's an herb specifically for mucous membranes, right? And it finds the treatment of the congestion and chronic inflammation, bladder, heptic inflation. Golden seal sometimes finds use in the treatment of female problems. Um, and it was discovered in Eastern North America. Okay. So what does it do? It's good for congestion. It's good for mucus buildup. And that mucus buildup comes from our body, especially mucus in the nose, or our sinusitis. You could see I have sinusitis and I just moved. And so it's like my allergies, working with that. Some of it's still grief. I do admit that. And so it's going to take a little while to clear out of my body, and purge all that was there. But with the science, and I love golden seal because it does help to clear that. It is so good, and it's golden, and you can't anything that. How can you go wrong with golden? Anything golden in an alchemical sense is a higher power, right? Um, use for Useful against a variety of microbes. So our body, our nose, for instance, has nose hairs, and it picks up it's supposed to pick up all that dirt and debris. Gosh, I got a big enough nose that it should clean everything out, but instead it's big enough, it sucks everything in. Um, and so What this does is it helps break that down. Slippery elm does that too, but golden seal, slippery elm is fun because it really swells up in water if you mix it in the water, but it really stimulates any of that mucus that is built up here or here, and I use it in a tea, and and with as well as echinacea is good for the immune system. Really just breaks everything down. It's not straightly as strong, I think, as lobelia. Lobelia really um, hits a little bit harder with the mucus if you want everything to come out really quickly. Um, but it gets us to breathe, relaxes our chest, gets us to get that breath, right? That we're at the end of the show, so let's do that. Breathing in, breathing out. Franny, I hope that helped. If you have any other question that you want to quickly put in here in the chat, really relaxing into that. And Spirit saying with this coming up here is the allergies, the allergic reactions, the inflammation. Really open up. So open up your lungs, open up your mind just a little bit more. And I know that you're open, and I know you're a oneness, you're a oneness supporter. And in the audience of Oneness Talk Radio, so I know you know your stuff, and you're an enlightened being. But what if that just one more thing, when we are ready to get our goals and we are ready to pierce the veil, if we just go in a little bit further. You are so welcome, Franny. Thank you. Big hug. If you're ready to go a little bit further, so pierce that veil, go through, take another step. So the golden seal will help just clear everything out, relax, and move forward. Just watch and understand where you're at. Because in the year from now, when you really need to move, and when you really kind of need to graduate and you're going up that extreme level, right now you're just taking the reflection and clearing that out. You're not at a dark night of the soul movement at all. You just need to relax into where you're at and be okay with what you're at and be thankful for what you're at. And of course, you're thankful because you put that in here. So beautiful. I want to thank you folks for being here. Got through the whole show without the jackhammer and the construction. I hope you couldn't hear it. I really didn't listen to the tape, but if you did, hey, sorry, woke you up. But just relax into it. Pierce the veil, because the fantasy of the life that you have is just about to be there. But be in the reality of now, and enjoy it, take it in, watch it, get a good cup of joe, a good cup of tea, and just sip and observe. Just that moment, just sip and observe what's going on in your life, and just take it in, because you're teaching yourself by watching, by being voyeuristic right now and watching what's going on, and noticing the color of people's eyes, noticing the color of their clothes, noticing their nose, or where their glasses sit, or what color the rims are their glasses. Start to notice more and more every intricate detail. When you see Susie Q coming in and she's walking around past you, you see her shirt, you see the purple, you see the raven on her necklace. Notice the full picture of people. And that is, for me, that's that part of really noticing. Notice who people are, be the observer, be enriched in their personality. Maybe they have a different gait. Maybe they have a loud laugh. Ha 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 ha. Maybe they have a little laugh. Hee hee hee. Notice that on people. Just the gift of people, the gift of life. And it's going to be funny because people are silly. I love stupid human tricks. Like I always say, I love people. I love to watch. I love to be an observant and just take it all in. Take the entire thing in like it's a good movie for you. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for being here. My information's in the chat. The gift is there for you, honey. So get that ritual book for creative humans. go ahead and book with me. Let's chat a little bit more. We'll get online, we'll get together. We'll have a bigger, juicier conversation about you. And thank you so much. Ciao.